So I got a call from my wife. Apparently, some people out there are wanting to see more, see what I'm going to do on YouTube, my YouTube channel, and that. Um, really, it's not much. I might as well just call the channel basically uh, True Flush. Because pretty much I'm going to take all the bullshit and just flush it truly straight down the toilet. I'm one of those people that I can't stand when people misquote things and that. And I really think that these wonderful, what's the word I want to use here? They're using militia. I've heard militant. Um, Dumbass. That's the word that I wanted to use. Out in Oregon, have used the Second Amendment and I know the NRA uses it all the fucking time because we all know Bambi walks around with an M60 and a bulletproof vest going, I will kill you. And that's why we need armor piercing rounds. Just ask them. Which, by the way, I live in a state where we deer hunt constantly. And to my knowledge, I have never seen a deer ever in a bulletproof vest with an M60. But you never know. Bambo might exist. Who am I to judge? Um, Bullshit, pretty much. It's the same. These are the same people, obviously, that walk into Walmart wearing their full camo after they go hunting, because we all know food's so scarce out in the wild. Deer just walk into Walmart. You can just see, the mom deer walking down the aisles. Honey, now we got to go get some corn. We're almost out. I mean, that happens every day. So I'm so glad that they choose to keep Walmart safe from the raging hungry deer. Um, but these are the people, they claim to be ranchers and that land's being stolen, which they're literally complaining about land that was actually stolen from the natives that live there. So, they're worried about land being taken. Yet the funny part is the people that they're protesting their camp even said that they don't even condone what they're doing. They're like, we didn't ask them to do it. We didn't want to do it. Which pretty much tells you all you need to know about the group out there. Um, they're quoting the Second Amendment, and they don't even quote it right, because the Second Amendment is pretty much was an amendment that was put in back in the time in which where you actually had to walk around carrying a gun due to like wild animals or the threat of according to the Constitution, basically savages can't talk out there. But my cigarette went out. That's great. See what happens when you yak too much and you put it on YouTube? You can't get cancer as fast. Sorry. But they have talked about how, we have the right to bear arms, but it was actually meant, because our government itself could actually call upon a militia that was was a duly represented military of each state to actually call to arms in case of tyranny and oppression. Obviously started during the Revolutionary War when we fought against Great Britain. It was actually a ramification that came around right around 1789. But, I'm just an idiot. I actually have read it, and they're completely wrong. And the fact that they're sitting back and, these people were tried, and yes, the federal court system stepped in and said, no, you're going to do the full 5 years just because, well, you poached on your land and then covered it up by setting fire to it. I mean, that's pretty horrible. I mean, that would be like a rapist, or a child molester burning their evidence. I mean, it's not quite on that level, obviously. Poaching animals from a land is still raping the land, kind of. I mean, they're just taking more than what they're supposed to based on, the local wildlife preservation there, and that's what dictates that. And I'm kind of getting lost there, but I mean, seriously, they're trying to duck a crime. And these people now are, gonna go into some biological preserve or something in Oregon, and they got their guns. And I love the fact that they had to bring their Coors Light, because we all know that you can't have a militant, act against the tyrannical government without Coors Light. Um, or was it Miller Lite? Either way, I don't care. They might as well have had Smirnoff, with an umbrella in it at this point. And no, that is not a crack at that. That's a woman's drink. But seriously, if they're drinking beer and they have guns, well, we really won't have to worry about them in Oregon anymore because someone's going to shoot someone else. The fact that these jackasses are doing this protest and they actually expect us to just kind of like drop everything and send them energy drinks. What was it? Winter weather socks. I locked up there for a minute. And snacks, which is my personal favorite. Winter camo. Because we all know that these jackasses that are out there doing that claim that, they're the military, that's the militia that's going to fight against this, yet they're not organized enough to bring winter camo, which is sold at Walmart, which pretty much I think is the official store of all these people. I can't say that truly. I'm not a representative of Walmart and don't want to be sued by Walmart. I'm just, satire. But truthfully, you have a group of middle-aged men with guns preparing to fight against their tyrannical government and the misrepresentation and that's out there, yet they can't even plan long enough to actually be there for a year. They want packages sent to them. They want us to support them. They want all their brothers out there that, are ranchers or whatever that are feeling oppressed to come and stay in a one-room shack with a bunch of other guys. That doesn't sound strange to anybody else? I think they just want to all sit around oiling their guns. It's pretty sad when they want all these guys to go into one room and one building. I don't know if there's one room. I've never really been inside, and I don't really know the floor plan. It's not like I'm getting ready to go raid it in the next, 24 hours. But I should probably be a little more factual. They want to all go into this really tiny building, which is about the size of a rest stop, and fight tyranny and oppression over an actual criminal act. And they can't even remember to bring socks, energy drinks. They brought the beer. Winter camo, and they're in a state that, is like the state I'm in where there's a lot of snow. It's not like it sneaks up on you either. It's a fucking thing that we know happens every year. Although if you're around here, everybody seems to forget that it snows. I mean, there are numerous times where as soon as the snow starts to fall, everybody breaks down to about 5 miles an hour and panics. And you're like, this was the same thing we saw last year. That's why we actually have those strange thing called, seasonal tires. Not winter air for those people that are out there going to actually try to figure out what I'm talking about. Winter air is a very bad joke. But you see, and everybody's like, how come, the government hasn't stepped in and attempted to resolve this? Because in all honesty, if you actually go up to it, that's like a little kid throwing a tantrum. That's like walking up and going, okay, Jimmy, I will give you the lollipop. In this case, it's like, okay, Al-Qaeda, as they're dubbed on Twitter, we're going to go ahead and, release them and not let them go to prison. No. Please. It's... Although, when you think about everything that's going on, it's no surprise. I mean, we have a guy that's running for president right now, Donald Trump, who literally got upset because he found out Hillary Clinton went to the bathroom in the last presidential debate. He gets so up in arms about this, and I'm thinking to myself, what, you don't know that women go to the bathroom? Men go to the bathroom? I mean, I guarantee you're in the bathroom, and it's like, well, what'd you do about your wives? He's been married umpteen times. By the way, they are all immigrants to this country. They're not all from the U.S. at all, which I find even funnier that he's bitching about immigration and all this stuff, and yet every single wife he's had is from another country. But, it's like, what happened? They never pooped? They weren't allowed? Was that in, like, the wedding agreement? The prenuptials, no turds or urination in Donald Trump's presence whatsoever. And, I'm not surprised he divorced so many times. because anybody that dealt with a man that didn't want to know that you took a shit, really? They probably left him because they realized they were leaving the biggest shit of all, and that's him. I mean, you can't sit back and get upset because someone had to use the bathroom in the middle of a thing. What? Just because you're like 900 years old and you've tried to buy everything and filed bankruptcy umpteen fucking 100 times, you're going to sit back and go, she went potty and I don't want to see it or hear about it. Don't say it. He's covering his ears. Really? Really? And people wonder why the other people in Oregon are doing this shit. It's because Trump's leading in the polls. And that's frightening. Our next duly represented government official could quite literally be someone who could get pissed off at Great Britain and try to fire them from the fucking UN. You know, he's going to be like, I don't agree with your plans. You're fired. Really? Really? I don't get this. You know, I realize that, you know, people, you know, we're in a democracy and we have the right to vote for whoever we want. I mean, in all seriousness, at this point, we might as well vote in Christopher Walken. At least he'd sound cooler when intimidating ISIS. But, you know, it's like every single time you hear anyone bitch anymore, you know, we can't let refugees in here. What if there's ISIS? Okay, let me ask you a question. If the natives said that as soon as that first little boat arrived from the Pilgrims, you know, the Mayflower, it got here, if they thought to themselves, we can't let them do this because they might actually attempt to steal our land, rape our women, bring diseases, and kill us all in mass slaughter. If they actually had that thought, do you think there'd be white people in the U.S.? I'm not necessarily anti-white, I'm just anti-stupid, and I'm really sick and tired of hearing people break it down to race or political views. Here's a political view. How about we all just stop being assholes to each other? I mean, you know, you got guys who are upset because someone got caught breaking the law. Go to any state prison and you'll find the same thing. I know people that have been incarcerated for absolutely no valid reason whatsoever. Like, literally, they were released later because they didn't violate the law. Where were you? You know, I should have taken over basically a rest stop building with a bunch of armed, you know, I don't know, fanatics. I don't know if you really can even call them fanatics at this point. The funny thing is they're calling for this, you know, tyranny to stop and how we need to quit everything that we're doing, yet they don't quite realize that everything that they're doing right now in attempting to fight the United States federal government is classified under high treason, which is punishable by being actually taken out into the White House lawn and shot in the back of the head by our commander-in-chief. According to that constitutional thing that he was holding up, treason is, you know, the laws for the federal government are about there. Which pretty much tells you that jackass that I was mocking in that video that's holding it up going, Daddy swore. He swore an oath to the Constitution. Never opened the book. All he actually did is go, I have it. And Jim Bob over there, he's saying some smart things that I agree with. So I'm going to just go ahead, hold this book up, and I'm going to make a video like I'm on my deathbed to my kids. The only reason he's actually on a deathbed is because you got a bunch of extremely uptight heterosexual males that are armed to the teeth in a building with beer. I really want someone to think about this for a minute. You have people that are going to be running out of food. They're going to be cold. They're all assholes anyways. And they have guns. He was actually serious probably about that. Because he's probably fearing for his life because that much testosterone in one room with a gun and beer, that's like going to any New York bar when the Giants play the Jets. I'm not going to be there. You know, or Green Bay plays Chicago. Fuck that. I'm out. Peace. You know, anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video. There's going to be more coming. I realize that I'm not always necessarily funny, but thank you for your comments on the other video, and keep liking this. I'll keep posting it up on my Facebook, and my wife will keep reposting.